Just barely, but still good morning to everybody. It looks like we're going to be starting pretty much right away here, as all of our riders are pretty familiar with how things are going to run here now, so no rider meeting needed. We're going to jump right into some qualifiers here shortly. First up will be the 200-meter qualifiers for the Masters Cat 3 men, followed by the elite women in their qualifying round. This is our third session for the Marymoor Grand Prix 2024 edition. We've been having a great set of races so far. Fantastic action last night. We'll continue on some more great racing here this afternoon. These are qualifying events today to set up for some exciting finishes and finales that'll happen during our fourth session. That racing to start tonight at 6 o'clock. Right now we'll be looking for our starters here on this 200-meter qualifier for the Masters 35+ Cat 3 men sprint tournament presented by Pyatt Lending Company. The first riders up, we got Logan Mursky, Sean Blaney, Jason Meadhoff. All riders can check the list posted at velodrome.org/live. Click the red button at the top of the page, and you can see the start list right there. All right, it's now getting their equipment set and off and away here shortly. Again, we're looking for our first three. This is going to be Logan Mursky checking in first. Sean Blaney will be on deck, followed by Jason Meadhoff and then Eric Waterman. Riders can check the posted start order, velodrome.org/live. If you're tuning on YouTube and joining us live for the event, thank you for watching. We appreciate your viewership. If you're watching back later, thanks for tuning back in on our channel and watching the racing here. Our third session of the Grand Prix. Again, another qualifying focused event here under the beautiful sunshine that we've been having this weekend. We'll be watching these riders go for several qualifying rides today. A 200-meter time will be used to seed these riders competitively in a tournament. We're only going to allow 16 of these starters to move forward from this group, so there will be some that will not be invited to continue based on their initial times here. Just ensuring that our timing team is all good to go, and we'll be ready to get this thing started. Looks like we're getting the thumbs up from the officials, and everything is about ready to get rolling here. Taking the track first, we have bib number 97, Logan Mursky. This is our first time here today. First impression here is that the conditions today are similar to yesterday, but more wind, especially coming across the track, coming in a direction that hits the riders on the back straight, so might be an impact for the timings here today. Certainly will be a factor. Temperature-wise, again, a perfect day here for us in Redmond, Washington. For those new to spectating, this is a 200-meter timed event. There will be a timing strip. You can see a line opposite the finish line on the back straight right before it gets up into turn 3. That's going to be the beginning of the timing on the second lap. And then we'll finish the timing over here on the finish line at the end of their second lap. So the final 200 meters, a half lap of our track at top speed is the goal. And we use that as sort of a litmus test, a measurement by which we can then competitively see these riders in this tournament throughout the rest of the day. The first rider now getting into their timing effort. Coming on track next will be Sean Blaney, followed by Jason Meadhoff, and then Eric Waterman. The first time coming in, 13.047 for Mursky, 13.047. Bid number 93, Sean Blaney now taking the track. Jason Meadhoff will check in next, followed by Eric Waterman and then Jordan Green. And a quick time for Sean Blaney coming in is 11.672. 11.672 for Blaney. Taking the track now, Jason Meadhoff, number 74. Checked in to start next will be number 63, Eric Waterman, followed by Jordan Green, and then Kunamasa Narome. Meadhoff getting the bell. And we'll get the time here shortly from Meadhoff. Number 74 coming in with a 12.322. 12.322 for Meadhoff. Again, today part of the qualifier is ensuring that you make it over the break here. There will be a line that's going to be drawn here before the top 16 in this group because we've got enough competitors here. So important our riders put out a good time in this part of the event just to carry forward into the sprint tournament that'll be held later today. And of course, the faster the time, the better your early rides will likely be, and the easier it'll be to advance. Eric Waterman now taking the track, number 63. Checked in to start next will be number 86, Jordan Green, followed by Kunamasa Narome and Hans Lofelholz. Carlberg turning in and seeing the live timing on the screen is a nice touch. Indeed, it is. Thank you for noticing. Thanks to One to Go on the inside. John's been doing a great job for us here in these qualifying events, providing our support for the official timing. Waterman getting up to speed here. And as a reminder, these are all qualifiers for racing that will happen later. If you're just checking out what's going on today, you're on your stroll in the afternoon through the park. We will be having our big race event tonight at 6 p.m. If you want to come back and see more of the action, 6 p.m. We're going to have the food trucks, beverage garden, and all of the big events and racing to happen on our normal Friday night. We have another one of those tonight starting at 6, our final session of racing. Incoming the time for Eric Waterman is a 12.2 on the nose, a 12.2 for Waterman. You can see our times there. Our first 4 riders, your top time so far is Sean Blaney, putting in a time of 11.672. Back on the second time of the day. On track now is number 86, Jordan Green. Checked in to start next is Kunamasa Narome, followed by Hans Lofelholz and Stan Douglas. Jordan Green coming across the line for the time. We'll get it here shortly. As Kunamasa Narome coming up on the track, bib number 105. Checking in to start next, number 83, Hans Lofelholz, followed by Stan Douglas and Ben Flom. Jordan Green's official time is 12.234. 12.234 for Jordan Green. A lot of riders coming in at this 12.2 to 3 mark so far. Out of these 5, it's kind of a pretty close timings there, just above 12 seconds for a lot of our riders. Still the quick time of 11.672 set by Blaney, our second rider out. Only 5 riders' times have been set, though, out of our 20 starters in this group. Nerome for the Flying Gorilla Academy. 105 coming across the line. We'll see Local Hills now taking the track, number 83. Stan Douglas checking in next to start. Ben Flom and then Chris Deerdorf, our next riders to take the track. Nerome getting a little closer to that 11-second break. It's 12.058. Currently our second fastest time in the group. Nerome brings in a 12.058. Yeah, don't hurt your knuckles on the rail. Good point. We got a good view there of the effort on lap 2 of Nerome getting awfully close to the rail. Or actually, I think with lap 1, actually, I think might have been the coverage there we saw. Or thanks again. We got some good views across the track here on the live stream. Right now, it's one of our riders from Burnaby here. Hans Lofelholz. A lot of our riders from up north coming to join us for this weekend. Currently on the track, number 83, Hans Lofelholz in their first lap. Quick time for Lofelholz, 11.826. 11.826. We'll take over at the second fastest time today so far. Again, Lofelholz, 11.826. Blaney's still setting the mark. Our second rider off set a time of 11.672. Difficult conditions for setting a quick time today just because of that headwind as riders are trying to accelerate down the back straight right now. That will impact our fastest time today for sure. And it continues to pick up here and there. It's a little blustery at times. So compared to yesterday where the wind was really giving us a nice break at this time, it's only going to be an impact today at our velodrome. Currently on track, Stan Douglas to set his time. Stan Douglas coming across the line for his time. Coming onto track now is Ben Flom, number 80, followed by Chris Deerdorf, number 120, and then finally Sam Karp, 124, our next couple riders up. Stan Douglas, the time is 12.668. 12.668 for Douglas. Then one of our local competitors here, Ben Flom, now getting into the timing effort. Quick time for Flom, 12.035. 12.035. Currently should be our third fastest time now, just ahead of Narome by a very small margin. Two riders to break into the sub 12 category here. That's still Sean Blaney, our fast time. Hans Lofelholz, the second fastest time, and now Flom sitting in third currently in this qualifying event. On the track right now is Chris Deerdorf, racing bib number 120. Checked and ready to start next is Sam Karp, followed by George Cuidado, and then Luke Romero. Brihop Racing rider there, Chris Deerdorf, come across the line for a time of 12.459. 12.459 for Deerdorf. Sam Karp takes the track now. That's rider number 124. Checking in to start next, George Cuidado, followed by Luke Romero. Coalition Cycling Sam Karp coming in for the time now. We'll get that shortly. Coming onto the track, George Cuidado, number 91, now taking lap 1. Luke Romero checking in to start next, followed by Alex Huey. The time for Karp, 12.507. 12.507 for Karp. This is George Cuidado coming around and about to get the bell. On track next will be Romero, followed by Huey and then Tomko. The quick time still set quite a bit ago. It was our second rider out. You can see Sean Blaney there, number 93, with an 11.672, proving to be pretty stout here today in terms of the timing effort from these competitors. Tough to get into the 11 so far. Only 2 riders managing the effort so far, being able to break that barrier. We got some fast finishers and some strong riders to close out this qualifier. We'll see a few more, I'm certain of that, before we're done here today. Quadrado's time of 12.23. 12.23 for Quadrado. Luke Romero, number 112, coming onto the track now. Checking in to start next is Alex Huey, followed by Daniel Tomko. A lot of riders, again, sitting at that 12.2 range, just above 12 seconds. We'll see as we go along, kind of where the times will align, and 4 riders will not be coming back for another ride in the sprints. And we have another time to get under that 12-second mark. Here's Romero's time coming in as 11.833. 11.833, just barely behind the time of Lofelholz. So now currently good for 3rd, pushing Flom back to 4th fastest time so far. Blaney's fast time still stands. On the track now is Alex Huey, number 121. Checking in to start next is Daniel Tomko, followed by West Pollock. 7 riders to go in the qualifier. Elite women have been given their notice. We got 7 riders left in the current event before we get to the elite women for their qualifying. Alex Huey now getting up to full speed. And a lot of these riders here at the end we're anticipating will start kind of pushing that numbers a little bit lower, getting into the 11s a little bit more frequently. Let's see where Alex slots in here in the competition. Coming on track next is Daniel Tomko. Checking in to start after him, Wes Pollock, number 98, followed by Thomas Andrew. And indeed another sub 12. This is an 11.892 for Huey. 11.892 becomes the new 4th fastest time so far, as it's just off the timing of Luke Romero, our previous rider, and still behind Lofelholz. Several riders now sitting at that 11.8 mark. Tomko for Center Cycles now in lap 1. And we have 6 riders to go now in the qualifier. In the elite women, the first rider up will be Gabby St. Clair, followed by Lucy Gilchrist and then Jordan Ellison. Again, start list can be found velodrome.org/live. And if you're out there on the live stream and would like to see results later on, you can also head over there to our website, velodrome.org/live. Also in the description, you can check out our digital program and read a little bit about riders to watch and learn about our great sponsors and all of the program and great thing going on this weekend. Again, you can find that digitally on our website. The best way you can find it if you're on the live stream, just go down to the video description. You can click it right there as well. This is Tomko now in their final 200 meters. Coming on track now is Wes Pollock, number 98. Checking in to start next is Thomas Andrew, followed by James Campbell Harris. Tomko, 12.166. 12.166. Will certainly be safe into the tournament. I believe that's sixth fastest time on quick check here. Wes Pollock now on the track at the beginning of their first lap. And that'll be our new fast time at 11.632, taking over by a couple hundredths of a second. Wes Pollock, your new fast time, 11.632 for number 98. Blaney pushed back into second fastest now, and all of our other riders there in the sub-12. Still looking pretty good. Now we have 16 times. On the bubble is going to be Mursky at this stage. We'll see what Thomas Andrews' time here is, number 51, currently on track. Checked in to start next is James Campbell Harris, followed by Gabriel Takagi. Our last rider in this group will be J.C. Pyle, following him. Then we'll begin with the elite women qualifiers immediately after. Expecting some good competition here in the last four spots. Thomas Andrew for Flying Gorillas. Looking quick through the turn here. Let's see what the time will be shortly. And your new fast time with a half-second advantage here. We'll go to Thomas Andrew, 11.18. 11.18, a very good time for Andrew. On to the track now, James Campbell Harris. Three riders remain after Campbell Harris. Will have Takagi and then Pyle. Gabby St. Clair will be the first of the elite women to check in after JC's time. And that time, I believe Mursky's time will no longer qualify. It now goes, I believe, to Stan Douglas next on the bubble. Campbell Harris coming across the line for their time. Coming onto the track now will be Gabriel Takagi for the Jerry Baker Juniors, followed by J.C. Pyle, and then Gabby St. Clair. Campbell Harris, time coming in of 11.671. 11.671. With that, I believe Douglas, his time of 12.668 will not qualify the bubble. I believe moving to Deerdorf. By a thousandth of a second, James Campbell Harris comes in with a slightly faster time than Sean Blaney. It's 11.671 versus the 11.672 of Blaney, so close margins there. On the track right now, just got the bell, was Gabriel Takagi. Our final rider coming up next, J.C. Pyle for this group. Nice time for Takagi, 11.416. That should be good for the second fastest so far today. Our Jerry Baker Jr. setting a time 11.416. Another junior now. J.C. Pyle, last rider. Speaking of another junior, we got Gabby St. Clair getting ready to go. Lucy Gilchrist will follow her in the Elite Women qualifier event starting here very shortly. It's actually Sam Karp's time, I believe, that may have disqualified after that last time. It's now Deerdorf that is on the bubble, I believe, with this last ride. We will see how J.C. Pyle's time compares. Expecting another sub 11.5 time or so here to compare against some of our recent riders. Your last rider here in our Masters and Cat 3 men qualifying event, now getting their start. Presented by our friend Jeff Pyatt from Pyatt Lending Company. And a quick time, good for first overall in the timing, is going to go to Pyle, 11.126. 11.126. I think just about a tenth of a second off of his fastest time set a few weeks back. Good time for the Jerry Baker Jr. He'll be slotted in at number 1 overall. Andrew Thomas, the next closest time there with an 11.18. We'll get one last look there at the timing as we're about to switch things over to the Elite Women group now. It's Gabby St. Clair, number 16, that's currently on the track. Your first rider for this group. All riders will move on to the next round, but some may get a bye here, will get the bye, as there's not quite a full 16 here in this group. 13 competitors. The 3 fastest should get the opportunity to just sit out a little bit here and rest in round 1. The rest of them will get seated against each other in that first round to see who moves on. Our Texan here will be our first rider to set a time today. See, there are Elite Women presented by, again, Pyatt Lending Company, and we're right in the middle of our qualifying rounds here. We've got plenty more times to find out here this afternoon for the Elite Women before we work our way into the very first rounds of the Keirins for the Elite Men. Those rides will come up after these 13 competitors have set their time. Your first time today for the Elite Women's. Gabby's time of 13.659. St. Clair with a time of 13.659. Lucy Gilchrist now taking the track. On deck behind her, Jordan Ellison, followed by Ruth Tomko. Gilchrist getting into the second lap now, number 5 to set their time. Elite men, the first heat will be Lawson, Davies, Paul, Sandoval, and Makino. You want to check that posting again at velodrome.org/live and be ready. The draw order is already set. We'll want to get through those in a timely fashion. Again, velodrome.org/live. Click the red button to see the Keirin heats already posted. Gilchrist with a 14.015. 14.015 for Gilchrist. This is Jordan Ellison on track now. Checked in to start behind her is Ruth Tomko, followed by Jacqueline Winrow. Jordan Ellison finishing up for their time. Ruth Tomko now coming on track. Another of the Jay Baker Jr. riders, number 25. Jacqueline Winrow checking in next to start, followed by Jordan Lothrop. Ellison's time, 14.225. 14.225 for Ellison. Ruth Tomko just getting the belt. That'll be our 4th rider to set the time here in the group. 13 competitors today. Everyone moves on to the next round. Again, a few will get to sit out that first round, the fastest 3 times. The rest will be paired up in round 1, which we'll see later during this session. Coming onto the track now, this is Jacqueline Winrow, number 26. Checked in to start behind her is Jordan Lothrop, followed by Kimberly Chen. And our new fast time for the group so far will go to Ru Tomko, grabbing a time of 13.266. 13.266 for Tomko. If you're on your afternoon stroll here in Marymoor Park and heard something going on here, we are in the middle of our Marymoor Grand Prix. This is our third session. Session 1 and 3 both serve as qualifiers for finales that will happen during the evening sessions. You can catch the conclusion for the Keirins and the sprints that we are now qualifying for during tonight's 6 o'clock start time. Again, that's a 6 o'clock evening session right here. We'll be finishing up all the sprints and the Keirins that we're getting started in this session, as well as some more great racing, elimination points, mass start racing. We've got a Madison at the end of the night. Beverage garden will be open, and the food trucks will be here. It'll be a fun and beautiful evening at the track. 6 o'clock, the time for our fourth session tonight. This is Jacqueline Munro coming up for their time. Taking the track now, Jordan Lothrop, number 21. Checked in to start behind her is Kimberly Chen, followed by Jenna Lingwood. In new fast time, taking our first time to go under 13 here is Jacqueline Munro, a time of 12.662. 12.662 for Munro. GVVA Racing here, getting the bell. Number 21, Jordan Lothrop, about to set their time. The time to beat now is 12.662. Your fifth rider out, Munro, setting a good time. Coming on the track now, number 14, Kimberly Chen. Checked in to start next will be Jenna Lingwood, followed by Mackenzie Wells. Kimberly Chen will soon be a world traveler heading to Junior Worlds, this rider here in China, that's right. So, incredible athlete here in Kimberly Chen. She's had a good weekend here so far at the GP. We'll see how it slots in against the competition. Going back to Lothrop's time, it's a 13.044. Lothrop, 13.044. That'll be currently sitting in second in our list today, with Munro's time unbeaten as of yet, 12.662, the time to beat right now. She reminded me, Chen did in her fun facts, that she's only 5 foot tall. I usually say that's 4'12" for extra insult. Despite her small frame, very powerful rider. We'll see how she stacks up against the competition today. Coming onto the track now is Jenna Lingwood, number 7. Checked in to start next, Mackenzie Wells, followed by Tendo Mukahanana. Your time for Chen is 13.242. 13.243, pardon me. 13.243, the official time for Chen. Munro's time of 12.62 still stands as your fastest in the group. Currently qualifier, that puts Chen in third, Lothrop in second fastest. Our next several riders are going to be looking to compete well under the 13-second mark. We're going to see a lot of these riders pushing up against Runro's time here shortly. This is Lingwood getting the bell. Coming on track next is Mackenzie Wells, number 15. Checking in to start next after that will be Tendo Mukahanana, followed by Diane Snobelin. Lingwood, 12.831. Lingwood with a time of 12.831. Currently in second fastest time, still just behind Wunro's 12.662. Currently on track, this is number 15, Mackenzie Wells getting the bell. Two riders now in that sub-13 mark. Still Wunro's time to try to beat here. And all our riders will advance into the next round. 3 fast qualifiers will get the bye in round 1. As our rider for Shadow Cycling now getting it to full speed. Coming on the track now, Tendo Mukahanana, number 17. Checking in to start next will be Diane Snobelin, followed by Danny Scoville. The time for Wells coming in at 12.749. Barely taking over the second fastest time so far. So Mackenzie Wells, your new second fastest time. Lingwood gets bumped to third. Wunro still atop the competition as of now. Your qualifier of 12.662. Still the time to beat right now. The Canadian Junior National Champ in the sprints coming up now. Tendo Mukahanana on track. Tendo coming out of the home straight. Is she wearing her racing age as a bib number, Tendo? 17? Maybe. Tendo's time coming in at 12.982. 12.982 for Tendo. Diane Snobelin, number 22, currently on track. On the right of the Burnaby area, they're going to be followed by Danny Scoville, who's checking ready to start next, followed by Emmy Savard. Your last rider in this group will be McKenna McKee. 4 riders left to go before we jump into the Keirins. Elite men, you put on notice. Elite men, Keirin heats upcoming very soon. Coming onto the track now, Danny Scoville, number 12. Followed by Emmy Savard checking in to start next, then McKenna McKee, and then into the Keirins. Diane Snoblin's time is a 12.522. A 12.522 to take over the top of the order now. The fast time of the group. Snoblin, 12.522. Munro finds herself now in second fastest time. Wells, your third fastest. On track now. Local rider for the J. Baker Jr. is Scoville. One to go for Scoville. Getting up to speed through the first turn here. Aiming for that mid-12 range to be competitive with the top times. Right now, Snoblin would be sitting out in that first round, as would Munro. Another quick time, Scoville just barely off the time of Snoblin. Our second fastest time now will be Scoville's 12.566. Second fastest time, 12.566. 400ths of a second off of Snoblin's time. The mid-12s again, to kind of now becoming the critical competitive point at the top of this group. Two riders remain. We got the Canadian champ here, multiple time, both junior and elite decorated competitor. In sprint events, it's our rider Emmy Savard, wearing bib number 2 in the colors of Canada today. Following her, our local speedster McKenna McKee, bib number 1, to set their time. Savard coming in for the time. Bib number 2. We'll get it shortly. McKenna McKee now on track. There's a name we were watching here not too long ago. Maddie Godby back in 2019 set the record at 11.735 during the Vision Grand Prix that year. That's a record time for our track, not an old one. A quick time back a few years back. McKee going to be seeing what she can do here against that quick time in the record books. Emmy Savard breaking the 12-second barrier, though. A very quick time, 11.907. 11.907 for Savard. A very quick time, especially, again, we continue to have a bit of a windy day here. It's not entirely still air like we had yesterday. McKee getting the bell. Trying to take over now at the top spot. Savard, your new fast time. Snoblin and Scoville would be the other two in the bye. Look for McKee to also be breaking through the 12-second barrier with this ride. Likely going to be trying to push against Savard's quick time and see if she can take over the top. You'll find a rider here today in the qualifying round. Keirin heats get set to go. Right after this time comes in, we're going to be getting ready for the Keirins. And McKee coming in with your second fastest time, actually, 11:992. So another sub 12, just barely. It'll put Savard as your fastest time in the group. McKee, second fastest. Snoblin will be your third fastest rider. That'll give them the bye in round one. Scoville will sit atop and be seated fourth overall. Will be your fastest in that first round that has to ride. Riders from the Elite Men Keirin, we are getting set to start now. Heat A of Lawson, Davies, Paul, Sandoval, and Makino will be coming up first. From each of our heats of 6 riders here, we're going to be looking to advance the top 2 directly onto the next round. Everybody else will be racing again in the reps, the second chance ride for places 3 through 6, pardon me. This first heat with 5 riders, so our top 2 advancing to the next round directly. Stand by. We still need to pick up the tape, it sounds like here. Second more for resetting ourselves. We're almost set to go. All right, track is clear from the timing tapes. Pacer on their way. We're now into the Keirin Heats, presented by Greg Cycles for the Elite Men. Our first heat lineup and ready to go. 2 advance directly onto the next round. The Pacer is on its way. Now on to the home straight. Riders ready. Number 95 draws position 1. That's Dylan Lawson, the Bellup Cycle Works team. Position 2, Jubilee Cycle Race team rider Tyler Davies, wearing bib number 50 in the black and white. For Waterline Racing, Wyatt Paul, racing in number 41 this weekend, is in position 3. He's got the blue kit with that silver helmet. Mario Sandoval, Super Mario, in position 4, wearing bib number 52. Tak Makino of the Atomic Race team in position 5, wearing bib 60. There's your 5 riders in this group. You got to be in the top 2 if you want to sit out the reps. Otherwise, you got to do in that second chance ride where we'll find a few more riders and bring them into the next round. 3 heats today for the Elite Men. Many of our riders will make it on, but some will not. The easiest way, of course, fewer rides. If you can get top 2 here, certainly preferable for our riders. The middle of this group is, I think, where a lot of the top speed was going to come from. Look between Davies and Wyatt Paul, our winner of the Elite Men Sprint Tournament yesterday, to be big factors today in the Keirin. Acceleration now coming on the back straight here. This Pacer will be shortly pulling off. Lawson on the front of the race. Maintains tempo, not in an attack mode right now. The group on their way. Davies out of the saddle. Starting to take over the front. Still not in attack mode. It'll be Wyatt Paul that'll do the next move around the right side. Waterline Racing is going to make it about a 400-meter effort if he's going to continue on his current tempo. maybe waiting for someone to try to challenge him from the front here. He's not at full speed just yet. He's got a little bit more to push here. And watching to see if anybody can challenge these two. It is Davies and Paul that come to the front. No surprise to see these two strong riders position themselves very well here in this round. Number 41 and 50 should get the nod to move on directly. The rest of our group here will be racing again in the reps. Heat B coming on track now. Heat C on deck. A group of Alexander Brewer, Daniel Brewer, Corey Jamieson, Noah Mandow, Tyson Danielson, and Luis Bonilla are coming up here in Heat B. Getting a look at our heat here before we get started on the live stream. If you're enjoying the production here and us bringing the action to you, don't forget you can hit the subscribe button. Within 5 minutes, you can jump on the live chat, leave a thank you, a shout out for a racer, a question, of course. I saw some questions earlier that the live chat took care of themselves, talking about aero bars out here for our qualifiers. Hit the thumbs up on the video. Make sure to share with friends and family. Hit the social media. We're trying to hit, after our Junior Nationals bid here in August, trying to get over 5,000 subscribers here in 2024. You can help us on that mission by sharing and telling people to tune in to our channel on YouTube, streaming all Friday night racing and all special events all season long. Pacer gets a signal, and they're on their way. Great to see so many folks tuned in for our qualifier. The Pacers on their way for this second heat. 2 more to get the nod directly into this next round. Pacers on the home straight. Riders ready. Lining up here, Alexander Brewer in lane 1 will take the position directly behind the bike. That's bib number 78. The Shading Windows and Doors rider, Daniel Brewer, number 85 in the second spot. Absolutely dominant yesterday in the overall, in the mass start events. That rider in the second position, trying to show up here in a Keirin and also be competitive today. Corey Jamieson in the Coast of Waterline Racing is in position 3, bib number 109. For Star Trek Racing, second in our sprint tournament yesterday, Noah Mandow of the Star Trek Racing team. The rider in that blue, today he's got a darker blue kit, very dark blue kit on the black helmet. Tyson Danielson for Waterline Racing, also in this group, is in position 5 in the lineup. And your last rider here in this group, Luis Bonilla, position 6, racing bib number 89. Still all lined up here after a full completed lap. I had it pretty well figured out what may occur in that previous heat. It's a little bit tougher to pick how this one's going to get sorted. Certainly, based on their racing prowess yesterday in the sprints, number 72 is one to watch here today again in our Keirins. As we know he's got good top speed, but the Keirin, actually his main event. So trying to make sure he gets a direct invite here into the next round would certainly be to his advantage. Everything bunching up here in turn 3 now is all the way from the back. It looks like we got some movement from one of our Waterline Racing team riders. Things starting to come around into turn 4. And indeed, here comes Danielson to take over the front. Number 64 is on their full attack. Both of the Waterline riders are coming toward the front now, as here comes Jamieson as well. He'll take over the front over for Danielson. Here comes Star Trek now. Mandow did find the room he needed to come up onto the wheel, and look at this break of these two. Now they've created enough separation. They've almost got this race settled here, as Mandow and Jamieson looking very strong. They pull away quickly from this group. We'll see the other 4 riders again in the reps. Your final heat now coming up to the track. Thank you for the support on the live stream, seeing some great comments from our viewers all around that are tuning in today. Over 50 live viewers here for our 3rd session. Great to see. I think there's more people watching online than there is live today in the park. Because, again, our noon sessions tend to be lightly attended overall. So it's great to see so many people tuning in and enjoying it from afar. We've got one more here in this first round for the Keirins. Heat C coming up onto the track now. Coming up next, Masters Cat 3 Men Sprints, round 1. Check the start list in the live folder. It'll be JC Pyle and Jason Meathoff in the first heat of the round 1 sprints. Again, Pyle and Meathoff will be up first. Riders, please be ready for your race. Check the start list in the order, velodrome.org/live. This is Heat C now in position, just about to get their last check-in here and on their way here shortly. Pacer getting the signal and on their way. Your final heat. 2 more riders to get the direct invite onto that next round. 4 more riders will go to the reps. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. Jacob Vandervliet of the Flying Gorillas team, number 49, is in position 1 for this group. Alex Siegel racing for Waterline Racing in position 2, wearing bib 43. In the 3rd spot, bib 58, Cameron Gillis of Ride with Rendall team. In 4th position, it's bib number 81, Andrew Ford. In 5th position, bib 82, in the black kit there, Luke Wilson. And finally, in position 6, that's bib number 47, Mateo Morasis for the Cheney Windows and Doors team. I could see half of this field contending for 2 spots really well. Between Vandervliet, Siegel, and Morasis, we've got some very strong sprinters in this group that are going to try and find their way to the front. Vandervliet's got the tough position of being at the very front of this group, with Siegel right behind him. It's all the way at the back you got to find our 3rd place rider from the sprint tournament yesterday, Mateo Morasis. Was dominant in his ride for 3rd and 4th, looked very good yesterday. We'll see if he can continue here in the Keirin. 2 more riders to move forward out of this group into the next round directly before we have the reps later in this session. For all of the remaining riders, their second chance race to be held during this session. A little bit of separation with some of the riders, as it looks like Vandervliet held on to the pacer pretty well, but will now allow a little bit of deceleration around the corner. Just a hair off the pace as they hit the home straight. Now here comes the move from Siegel, starting to take over at the front. Not fully engaged just yet, but he's coming into speed now. Morasis has got a long ways to go. He's going to start to try to reposition. He now finds the room he needs, and a little bit of acceleration out of turn 2 will start to come up to the front. Only 2 riders get the advancement here. Vandervliet's going to try to come around Siegel, as is Morasis now. Siegel from the front, Trying to hold on for one of these two positions. Siegel, Morasis. Vandervliet's got to get around. Won't quite get there. It'll be Siegel and Morasis that come across the line 1-2. That'll send Vandervliet into the reps with the rest of these riders. Round one of the sprint tournaments for the Masters Cat 3 Men presented by Pyatt Lending Company. Coming up next, J.C. Pyle, Jason Meadoff, followed by Thomas Andrew, Jordan Green, Gabriel Takagi, George Quadrado. More great racing to go on tonight. I know most of our audience right now is actually digital and online, so don't forget we'll be streaming live starting right before 6 o'clock. You can pick us back up for our last stream of the day and of the weekend, session 4, racing to start at 6 o'clock. We'll see the conclusion of the sprint tournaments for both the Elite Women and the Masters Cat 3 Men, as well as the conclusion for this Keirin that's ongoing right now for the Elite Men, all during that program tonight. 6 o'clock, the start time for our evening session. Looking forward to that one. Our riders are coming up in driver position now. This is a single ride to sort out our 16 remaining riders in the group, down to 8 after this. The winner continues. This will be J.C. Pyle, bib 127 for the Jerry Baker Juniors, lined up over there in lane 2 up against the rail. For Monster Racing is Jason Meadoff, number 74. Of our 20 starters, we have 16 remaining. We're going to work our way down to 8. This is heat 1 of 8 heats here in the first round. By the numbers, this one's a tough match here for a rider for Monster Racing. Our fastest rider in the qualifiers, J.C. Pyle for the J. Baker Juniors. That's the rider up against the rail. The challenger here, Meadoff, number 74, on the inside position right now, trying to control the lane on the track. We've seen enough laps here from Pyle to know where he wants to strike in most situations. Coming into that critical zone between turn 1 and 2 now. Pyle's going to just try to roll the hill here on high. He does not have the lane down low, but if he can get the acceleration, he can take over the front and try to leave his competitor behind. It's looking like he's got a good run at it down on the back straight. Despite the longer line, Pyle looks like he's got this one pretty well wrapped up. Coming up next, heat 2 onto the track is Thomas Andrew and Jordan Green, followed by Gabriel Takagi, George Quadrado, then Wes Pollock and Eric Waterman. Jordan Green will line up in lane 1 wearing bib number 86. Taking on the rider in lane 2 for the Flying Gorilla Academy, it's Thomas Andrew, bib number 51. Well, they flipped around on me. It'll be number 51 in lane 1, Jordan Green in lane 2 up against the rail there. About ready to get their start. Again, one rider to continue on into the next round. We got to go Jordan in the live chat. Jordan Green's getting some love from the online fans right now as we're going to be getting started here with this next heat. 2 laps around the track. Flying Gorillas Academy number 51 at the front with Thomas Andrew right now. Our second fastest time for the qualifying round. Another tough matchup here, as this is going to be a big disparity between the top speeds we measured earlier today between Green and Andrew. On deck, Heat 3, Takagi and Quadrado, followed by Wes Pollock and Eric Waterman. They'll be followed by James Campbell-Harris and Daniel Tomko in the 5th heat. Calling Quadrado to the ready area. Quadrado. He's got his hand up in the warm-up circle. He'll make his way over to us next. Thank you. Flying Gorilla Academy rider number 51 starting to push away a little bit here. Open up a little bit of space. Green will have to cover this at some point. He's starting to accelerate himself through turn 4 to not try to let this one get too far away. Still a pretty big gap. He's starting to hold on to it here, but if the attack comes now, that's going to be a big gap to close. He will start to go down the hill a little bit and hold on to this separation pretty well. Thomas Andrew still in control of this one. Green closing. Not going to be quite enough to hit onto the home straight. Green with a great effort. It'll still be your speedster from Thomas Andrew, number 51, taking that heat. At the ready area now should be Heat 4. Wes Pollock, Eric Waterman coming up next, followed by Campbell-Harris and Tomko. It'll be Heat 6. It'll be Sean Blaney and Kunamasa Narome. This is George Quadrado, number 91 from Outpost Richmond, laned up in lane 1. Above him there for the J. Baker Juniors, number 96, Gabriel Takagi in Heat 3. The out-of-towner is Quadrado, racing for Outpost Richmond, taking on our local Jerry Baker Jr. rider. Takagi with pretty significant advantage coming into this based on the flying 200-meter qualifier. Takagi assumes the lead position now at the blue line. Pretty intermediate pace now as we hit turn 3. Quirado will play in the shadow right now, just behind Takagi. Both riders low on the track right now. Quirado waiting for the move from Takagi now. Takagi just will take over the sprinter's lane and tries to shorten up this race. Waiting for the attack, still all the way down the back straight. Now here comes the jump with about 200 meters left. Just trying to use top speed from the front position. He has the advantage of both being closer and also being the one to start the acceleration. Quirado trying to come at the rear wheel. Will not be able to overtake on the home straight. Takagi to advance. Coming up now, Heat 4. On deck to start next, Campbell Harris and Tomko in Heat 5. They're followed by Heat 6, Sean Blaney, Kunamasa Narome, and then Heat 7, Hans Lovelholz, Ben Flom. Wes Pollock racing in bib number 98, lining up there in lane 1. Taking on local rider, Dyna Racing Team competitor number 63, Eric Waterman, as Heat 4 about ready to start. Ooh, Waterman runs at him in turn 4, catches him sleeping. Good move here from the second position. Waterman's got the disadvantage on the qualifying time, so trying to play it a little sneaky. Pollock responding pretty well, though. Your 4th fastest time today in the qualifiers in Wes Pollock. He finds the wheel, should be able to use the finishing speed to continue challenge. And Pollock will overtake onto the home straight, and that'll be it for number 98. Advancing onwards. Heat 5. Campbell Harris, Tomko coming up to the track right now. Checking in at the ready area, Heat 6, Sean Blaney, Kunamasa Narome, followed by Heat 7 with Lovelholz and Flom. Heat 8, your final heat for this group, Luke Romero, Alex Huey. The elite women will follow that 8th heat. Two local riders here between our Cinecycles rider, number 46, Daniel Tomko, get the start out of lane 1, taking on James Campbell Harris, bib 111 for Aerotech Racing. Campbell Harris with the quicker time out of the qualifier, but the difference becoming a little bit more similar. These riders all sitting pretty close around the 12-second mark now. As the further down we get this list, this first round going to get a little bit more competitive with each ride we go. Tomko takes over the lead position still, pushing pace a little bit on this first lap. Again, I've seen enough laps from both of these riders to kind of know where they want to strike. We'll see if Tomko wants to do his normal play here, as he's got Campbell Harris in that second position. Beginning to roll up the speed here as the bell rings. Waiting for Campbell Harris to maybe make an error underneath him. Not overtaking just yet. Both riders are just going to roll up the speed. Into the back straight. Campbell Harris with the faster finishing kick. But they've been at speed for a while now. Does he have enough to overtake at the end? We'll start to try to overtake in turn 4. Tomko from the front. Always hard to come around. Here he comes to the home straight. Ooh, Campbell Harris does have enough. Heat 6 coming up to the track now. Loeffel, Holes, and Flom for Heat 7 in the ready area on deck to start next, followed by Heat 8, Luke Romero and Alex Huey. We'll then get into the first round for the elite women. Down in lane 1, that's bib number 105. Kudamasa Narome taking on Sean Blaney, number 93. Looking forward to these next couple heats, even in this first round. Ought to be pretty close. Both these riders have a good shot here at advancing. Blaney has a slight advantage from the measured time earlier today. That's the rider in black with, again, a slightly faster qualifier. Pretty quick first 200 meters here, as both riders are already starting to push the pedals pretty decently into that back straight. Right on top of each other position-wise, right in the center of the track. A little high here, both riders matching tempo all the way around the track. They've just been sitting side by side. They're well matched in top speed. Narome gonna lose the lane now here. Although, looks like Blaney's gonna stay just above that red line, not knowing exactly where his competition is. And what a great acceleration for 93. He takes over Blaney. Two heats to go here in the group. Heat 7 now coming up. Checked and ready to start. Luke Romero, Alex Huey in the ready area. The first heat for the elite women. Snowblin and Ellison. Number 80 in the orange and blue for Felsswoop is Ben Flom, who draws position number 1. Taking on number 83, Hans Loeffel Holes, Burnaby Velodrome Club. Very similar times in the qualifiers. But that doesn't account for everything. You saw again in that previous heat, didn't look as close as we may have anticipated based on the times those riders are capable of. So unsure how these next couple are going to unfold. Flom sitting on the front of this one as Loeffel Holes will sit behind the Fell Swoop racer all the way through this first lap. Acceleration coming from the front as Flom has brought the group up to speed here. The two riders basically matching tempo still. Lovelholz holding on, trying to time the overtake onto the home straight. And Lovelholz with enough. Coming up to the track, your final heat for the Masters in Cat 3 men sprint tournament first round. We got one more rider to advance between Luke Romero and Alex Huey. Bib number 121 down in lane 1. That's Alex Huey. Up against the rail number 112, Luke Romero. Your final heat. And one more rider to get the nod and to continue on in our tournament. Checked and ready to start next is Diane Snowblin and Jordan Ellison, followed by Danny Scoville and Lucy Gilchrist. Elite women sprinters to the ready area again. I'm looking for Snowblin and Ellison. We're going directly into the elite women next. I know my calming dulcet tones can eventually get, tuned out. That's why I need the color commentator up here. I need to break up the monotony, you know what I'm saying? Again, we'll bring our elite women up next. The first group up on the track will be Snowblin and Ellison, followed by Scoville and Gilchrist. On the track now, though, this is that final heat for the Master men, Cat 3 men. Luke Romero, the rider, slightly in front position right now, wearing the lighter jersey. Alex Huey in the all dark kit right behind him. Feigning some movement there a little bit, just trying to maybe get the jump out of 112. Now assuming pretty close positioning as we hit the top of turn 2. Out of the potential competitive heats, this one has a very high potential to be right down to the line here between these two. Huey in and out of the sprinter's lane for a moment, maybe looking to try to get the slingshot rolling again as he was a little bit too close up on the wheel. Trying to come around at the line. Ooh, I think he's going to get it on the outside. Huey looks like he'll have it. And with that, we are all wrapped up with the first round of the sprints for the Pyatt Lending Company's Master Cat 3 Men Sprint Tournament. We go now to round 1 for the Elite Women Sprint Tournament presented by Pyatt Lending Company. We'll bring up our two first competitors here in this third heat on the start list. It's Diane Snowblin and Jordan Ellison getting their start. Number 27 on the inside is Ellison taking on Snowblin, wearing bib number 22 in the darker kit up along the rail. Our fastest time in the group, Emmy Savard getting the bye this round, as well as McKenna McKee. Your second fastest time, seated third in the qualifier, is Snowblin taking on Jordan Ellison now. On deck in the ready area next is Danny Scoville and Lucy Gilchrist in Heat 4. Heat 5 Coming up after that will be Jacqueline Munro, Gabby St. Clair.
When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby,
Ellison does not want this to go fast just yet, and as long as she's going to go slow, so will Snowblin. From the qualifier, again, Snowblin, your third fastest overall, has a big advantage from top speed measurement. Nelson still in the inside position, watching Snowblin closely. They've gone around one lap and basically come back in the same place they were when we left a lap ago, with Ellison on the inside just barely in front of Snowblin. Snowblin just wants to sit just overlapped and off of her right side. The acceleration now down the back straight. Snowblin to take over the front. Snowblin to ride again into the next round. Coming up now is Heat 4. The match of Jerry Baker Jr. riders, Scoville and Gilchrist, now coming up to the track. Heat 5 on deck to the ready area. Jacqueline Munro, Gabby St. Clair. Following them will be Heat 6, Mackenzie Wells, Ruth Tomko. Number 5, Lucy Gilchrist will take lane 1. Scoville out in lane 2, wearing bib number 12 and the Rider of the Year jersey. Your fourth fastest qualifier today in Scoville. Teammates made rivals today. Gilchrist trying to find a way to beat the speedster from her team and continue on to the next round. Both riders up close to the rail, halfway through this turn. Now Scoville will take up a little bit lower position on the track and now position herself up against Gilchrist a little bit, taking over at the front now. A little bit of separation here from our two riders. Gilchrist beginning to go closer to the rail and moving up high. Whoa, little move down. Are they going to go into the full sprint here? Scoville's waiting to see a wheel from Gilchrist. Gilchrist wanting to sit in that wheel a little bit as both riders getting up to speed, but she will come just above the red line. Ooh, second acceleration now in turn 3. And it'll be Scoville moving on to the next round. Heat 5 coming up to the track now. Checked in next to start is Heat 6, Mackenzie Wells, Ruth Tomko, followed by Heat 7, Jenna Lingwood and Kimberly Chen. Our Simet Racing rider, number 26, occupying lane 1. That's Jacqueline Munro, number 16. The Texan, out in lane 2, pardon me, is Gabby St. Clair. Here in our Heat 5 for the elite women. The rider in the black and the red for Simet Racing comes into this one with the advantage based on top time from that qualifying event. Our traveling junior sticking around from the junior takeover back a few weeks ago, here again for some racing at the GP. Can see what she can do to best the speedster that she finds herself up against here. Both riders side by side as they go with the Stanley sign. With the youngster kind of pushing the tempo a little bit more here. One row will just match and stay a little bit off the front of her wheel. And it's continuing to be in between her and the sprinter's lane, just wanting to match her tempo at this stage. Gabby kind of leaning left a little bit, looking like she might be thinking of pushing down against her position-wise. Still both in the middle of the track. Again, one row, the rider on the inside with the quicker qualifier, now also with the shorter line, will take the lane. Second acceleration from the rider on the front. Whoa, still trying to get in that slipstream and maybe get an opportunity to come around on the side here. Closing speed will not quite be enough, though, as 26 will be able to hold on. One row to advance. Heat 6 coming onto the track now. In the ready area, Heat 7, Jenna Lingwood, Kimberly Chen. Your final heat following them, Heat 8, Tendo Mukahanana and Jordan Lothrop. After the elite women, sprint quarterfinals for the Masters Cat 3 men. The sprint quarterfinals will follow the last heats of this round for the elite women. Masters Cat 3 men in the quarterfinals. We are getting close. Mackenzie Wells for Shadow Cycling, bib number 15, lines up in lane 1. Rue Tomko, Jerry Baker Jr. rider, number 25 in lane 2. And off we go for our 6th heat now. 2 to go here for the elite women in round 1. Still Wells on the lead position right now as the Jerry Baker Jr. rider will match pace just off the back. And a little higher position on the track, but both riders, at least going into turn 3, pretty low position. Now a little bit more separation as we come across the Stanley sign in turn 3. It's the junior rider off the back here a little bit, continuing to move up and down a little bit in turn 4. Now they both assume low track position. The jump starting to come from the front. The rider in black at the front does have the faster finishing time. Wells will try to use that right now to finish from the front. Tomko now getting up to speed and trying to find that slipstream. Still has an opportunity here to try to challenge. In the wheel. Has to make the second effort to try to come around. Does the junior have some acceleration to challenge on the home straight? Ooh, it won't be enough in time. Wells with good power all the way around the track will advance and continue on. You're just coming into the park here on your afternoon stroll. This is our 3rd session of the Marymoor Grand Prix, our fastest racing here in the Pacific Northwest on 2 wheels. We host it here every single year. We have a big, fun event tonight starting at 6. It'll be our final session, and that's where the finals for all this racing you're seeing now will happen, as well as a bunch of other mass start racing. The beverage garden will be opened, as well as our food trucks rolling in. If you want to check it out again, 6 o'clock tonight, Saturday night racing for the GP. This heat now getting started. Jenna Lingwood is bib 7 in the orange and blue, taking on Kimberly Chen, number 14. Both out-of-towners here to us. One from Portland, one coming down from Canada to compete here today. British Columbia competitor, number 14. Sitting behind Lingwood right now in the early parts of this lap. Lingwood accelerates things pretty quickly to start this one off. Not at anywhere near top speed, obviously, but a quick first 200 meters, kind of getting it rolling. This round, only one rider gets to continue, so far we've seen several riders on their last 2 laps here of their sprint tournament today. Will it be Chen or Lingwood in this one? This is so far been a pretty quick first lap, continuing in this kind of moderate tempo as Lingwood's waiting to see if Chen wants to make this get going any earlier. Now the acceleration down the back straight as Chen's in good position to strike. Maybe trying to overtake a little too early. Lingwood's got more speed from the front. Now it'll be a second chance for Chen to get back in that slipstream, try to come up and around on the home straight. Ooh, Lingwood and Chen. Lingwood up and out of the saddle, trying to get this one. I think it'll be number 7 on the inside. Confirmed. Lingwood gets enough there. Big effort down the home straight as Chen had a really good run at her on the home straight. Final heat for the elite women in this round should be our closest by the numbers. We'll see how these two race it. We've got Tendo Mukahanana and Jordan Lothrop coming up. The quarterfinals for the Master Men Cat 3. We are calling that first heat on over. The first riders will be JC Pyle and Alex Huey in the quarterfinal round, followed by Thomas Andrew and Hans Lofelholz. Tendo Mukahanana, number 17 for triple shot cycling out of Victoria, is lined up in lane 1. Jordan Lothrop for GVVA Racing, number 21 in lane 2. GVA, another one of our Victoria team. So 2 Victoria area competitors here. Tendo trying to throw down here at the GP as a junior track national champion for Canada in this event. Lothrop matching up well in the qualifiers based on the top time. Going to be thrown down here against the young competitor. We'll see how these two match up here at our last heat for the elite women in this first round. The quarterfinals for the Masters and Cat 3 men is about ready to start with Pyle and Huey checked in and ready to begin. They're followed by Heat 2, Thomas Andrew, Hans Lofelholz. This is a group of 14 getting whittled down to 8, one race at a time. We'll see which of these two riders will do their last lap of sprinting here for the 2024 GP. The bell ringing. Lothrop on the front. Bukahanana still just off that back wheel, leaving very little space here. Now she's going to make the attack from the second position, trying to overtake around the outside, not waiting for Lothrop to get the sprint started. Ooh, this could be interesting. They're side by side. Based on top speed, they're very similar. Now the disadvantage goes clearly to the junior as she has no slipstream in the longer line. Can she close it? Lothrop will be able to hold on from the sprinter's lane. We'll see more from Jordan Lothrop in the quarterfinal round. Pyatt Linen Company sprint tournament for the Masters and Cat 3 men continues on to the quarterfinal round. They'll be followed by the elite women in the quarterfinal round before we get to the elite men reps for the Keirin. Quarterfinals, 8 remain. We'll soon have it down to 4. This is number 127, J.C. Pyle, the Jerry Baker Jr. is in lane 1. Take on Alex Huey, number 121, in lane 2. As we get down to these 8 remaining riders in this group, it'll get down to 4. We'll sort out who's going to be racing for first and second and who's going to be racing for third, for fourth. Later on today, the conclusion for all this great racing to occur during the 6 o'clock session tonight. That's right, 6 o'clock Saturday night racing session 4 to happen later today. All of the finals will be held during that event. J.C. Pyle trying to make sure he can race in front of the Saturday night crowd tonight. He's up against Alex Huey, who's been a stubborn competitor this whole weekend here for these riders. J.C. Pyle with the fastest qualifying time this weekend, and one of our Jerry Baker Juniors, an under 18 age rider with good top speed. Huey's got a good position right now. Pyle looking around to see if he has to give up more effort. He will be challenged here on the home straight a bit. Huey, Pyle. Pyle's got enough. Huey gave him a run for his money there, a little bit out of turn 4. Looked like he was going to come up alongside him. Coming up next here, we've got our second heat in this quarterfinal round. It's Thomas Andrew, number 51, taking lane 2 for the Flying Gorilla Academy, taking on Hans Lovelholz of the Burnaby Velodrome Cub, wearing bib 83 down in lane 1. Sparring words there at the line. The two Canadians here in this group head-to-head between Flying Gorilla Academy and Burnaby Velodrome Club. Some of our British Columbia competitors making their way here to the GP find themselves in this head-to-head match. Only one will get to continue to race in the tournament. Thomas Andrew with quick time today, second fastest in the qualifier. That's the rider currently in front. Has the expected advantage against Lovelholz, number 83, who's coming up alongside of him now, close to the rail. A lot of changing of position here through the middle of turns 3 and 4. Local holes will assume the position of control between the sprinter's lane and the rider on top. Both riders will roll up to speed. Side by side, it appears, with Andrew having all the height in the world but no lane to go down with, as Lofoholz will ensure that he cannot turn the wheel to the left. Still just kind of cruising up to speed as we hit the back straight. Now Lofoholz will get the acceleration going. Andrew's going to try to use the bank for a little secondary kick there to try to hit the overturn and the overpass here to the finish line. And it's enough. Might have lined that up a little late. He did have enough finishing speed. Made it look pretty close there, but you saw the good acceleration that he's capable of, Thomas Andrew. He'll be able to race again. We'll see him in the semifinal round later. We will hold that semifinal round here, of course, during this session. The final event here during session 3, we'll have some semifinals for the sprinters. Here comes another in our quarterfinal round. Gabriel Takagi, number 96, in lane 1. Sean Blaney, number 93, up in lane 2. This is our third of 4 heats. On deck, ready to start behind him, Wes Pollock, James Campbell Harris. They'll be followed by the Elite Women's Sprint Tournament coming back up for their quarterfinal round. The rider in black and blue for the Jerry Baker Jr. is coming in with a quick time during the qualifier. Is, again, the expected rider with a little bit of advantage here against Blaney, number 93. But I think based on experience and tactics here, this is going to be a big factor for the younger competitor, too. We'll see how these two match up in this one ride to advance quarterfinal round. Bell's ringing, with Takagi assuming all the height and a little bit of lead position. He'll take that opportunity to dive into the sprinter's lane, and he'll look at this gap he's already opened up. This could be too big for the recovery here, as Blaney's got himself several bike lengths to get back up to the junior, who made a great run with all that height, and he had the open lane to use the hill and get up to speed. Nice acceleration for the junior, as he has good control here. Number 96 will advance. Your final heat in the quarterfinal round for the Mastermen coming up now. On deck, ready to start behind him, Emmy Savard, Jordan Lothrop to the ready area. Heat 2 will follow them, McKenna McKee, Jenna Lingwood. In your fourth heat, we'll see James Campbell Harris, bib 111, in lane 1, taking on his opponent, Wes Pollock, number 98, up in lane 2. One more rider to continue on into the group of 4 to make the semifinal round. These riders that make it through to the next round will race their semifinal round at the end of this session. That'll determine who's racing for first and second, and who's racing for third and fourth in front of the audience tonight for Saturday night racing. That to start at 6 o'clock this evening. If you're just here perusing seeing what's going on here in the velodrome today. The big show starts a little earlier than normal. Our usual start time on a Friday is 7. Tonight we'll be doing a 6 o'clock start. This is the Marymoor Grand Prix third session, qualifying for the sprint tournament for both the Masters and Cat 3 men and the Elite women, as well as the qualifying rounds, the early rounds of the Keirin for the Elite men. The finale for the Keirin will also happen following this session. During our evening session, we'll see the reps from the Keirin riders here pretty soon. Campbell Harris on the front of this one right now, our local rider being challenged. The out-of-towner on the wheel here, Pollock in red on the wheel now of Campbell Harris. Both riders getting up to speed. Only one gets to continue on. Critical moment here in turn 4. This is looking pretty close. Pollock running at it nicely. Campbell Harris and Pollock to the line. Ooh, 98 gets the push necessary down the finishing straight and will find it. Elite women for their quarterfinal round, presented by Pyatt Lending Company. Up first in this first heat, we have the Canadian Emmy Savard, GVDA rider Jordan Lothrop on deck in the ready area. McKenna McKee, Jenna Lingwood, followed by Dan Snoblin, Mackenzie Wells in heat 3. In lane 1 for the Greater Victoria Velodrome Association, it's Jordan Lothrop taking on Emmy Savard in the colors of Canada. In lane 2, this continues to be a quarterfinal round. That means one ride to advance onto the next round. The other rider eliminated from the tournament. Lothrop riding a good ride in the first round to get here. Up against very tough competition now in this Canadian Speedster. Savard looks primed and prepped to try to win this thing today. Her next target here, she's got to take out the Victoria rider. Lothrop was just off the front by a couple bike lengths now. Lothrop setting the pace. Savard matching it, just leaving a little bit of running room right now. Both riders down the sprinter's lane. No height taken by either in this part of the lap. We'll see what they do here through the rest of lap 2. Savard will start to take some height to the rail. Lots of room between the two. Lothrop maybe thinking about pushing the pedals a little bit more, but nothing coming of it yet. Both riders bringing things up to speed as they come into turn 2. Savard starting to go on the strike now, closing things down. Your fastest qualifier today, a quick 11.9, the time set earlier today by Savard, and that's the kind of closing speed that sort of power can do. Savard will take over the front and has this one locked in. Lothrop takes the bow across the line. It says, well done. Yeah, Savard is, like I said, going to be trying to put together a run to win this thing today for sure. We'll see now at heat 2 in this quarterfinal round coming up to the track. Checked in into the ready area now should be heat 3. Snoblin and Wells, followed by your final heat of the quarterfinal round. Danny Scoville, Jacqueline Wunrow in heat 4. We're going to be adding a short 5-minute break before the Keirin reps for our staff and support team here, including our officials. So 5-minute break before the Keirin reps added into our schedule. We continue with the quarterfinals. McKenna McKee, bib number 1, Novo Nordisk competitor. Our second fastest qualifier today up against Jenna Lingwood, number 7. One ride to continue on. One of these two riders will be done with their sprint tournament today after these 2 laps. McKee with plenty of antics here in the early goings, up and down the track and positioning herself both in close proximity to Lingwood and now starting to kind of dance around in front of her. A moderate tempo for both as Lingwood will sit off the back wheel just a bit here. Calling Snoblin and Wells. Snoblin. Lingwood trying to pick up the pace here on the home straight. will make the jump over the finish line. McKee getting onto the rear wheel. A comfortable spot for McKenna to be. Now challenging around the outside. And Lingwood already sitting up on the bars. McKee's fast, huh? McKenna McKee gets the nod to continue on. So far, it's Savard and McKee. We'll see in the semifinal round. 2 more riders coming up now in Heat 3. On deck, Heat 4, Scoville and Munro. Shadow Cycling in the all-black kit, number 15, Mackenzie Wells down in lane 1. Burnaby Velodrome Club's rider number 22 is Diane Snoblin up in lane 2. Here in our third heat during the quarterfinal round. Still pace here in the first 200 meters here in lap 1 for our current heat. As Wells, the rider in black for Shadow Cycling, still in the front position. Snoblin will be the rider in second position, still sitting right about the blue line. Both riders kind of moving left and right here as the bell's ringing. Wells watching over the right shoulder and wants to maintain front position so far throughout this whole lap. Snoblin with the quicker time in qualifiers. That's the rider in second position right now. Both will assume a bit of movement up the hill here as we hit the flat in the back straight. Snoblin has a good opportunity to take over here at the front as Wells has the shorter line, but with the acceleration from Snoblin, looks like she's going to be able to take over now. Ooh, still a good one. Snoblin, though, by about a bike. Last heat of the quarterfinals getting lined up. 5-minute break to follow. Then the reps for the Keirin. This is Heat 4 with Jerry Baker Jr. rider Danny Scoville in bib number 12 up against the rail there in lane 2, taking on Jacqueline Munro of Simon Racing, number 26 in lane 1. So far, it's Savard, McKee, And Snoblin advancing into the semifinal round. We have one more rider to determine here out of this fourth heat. Danny Scoville takes high position here, right alongside her competition in Jacqueline Wunrow. One more of these speedsters here to join us in the semifinal round after 2 laps. We'll take short recess for about 5 minutes. Our online audience will keep the cameras on here. We'll keep the same stream rolling. We'll be back with you after a short break, in which we'll resume the Keirin for the elite men. They're going to be going into their rep round. The reps upcoming for the elite men here for the Keirin. They'll be followed immediately by the semi-final round for our sprinters to determine who'll be racing for the first and second place ride, who's going to be racing for third and fourth in front of the Saturday night audience later today. Side by side, one row in the inside position. Scoville with the longer go around here as he's got no lane to go to the left. Looks still comfortable with it though, kind of pushing into the other rider a little bit as they'll assume very close positioning. A little lower on the track here now, but neither rider really has any advantage of the height. Now side by side down the sprinter's lane is one row. Scoville with the longer lane. No advantage to the outside rider in this position. Scoville might be able to get a little bit of benefit right here and then try to retry the attack and go around the outside. Here we come to the line. Scoville, one row. Scoville's gonna get it. Whoa. Had to push hard for that finish, but Scoville, I think, will get that one. Confirming for Scoville to continue on into the semifinal round, I believe. And now we will be taking that short break here. I'll be off the mic for about 5 minutes as we're going to give everybody a chance to refresh and get ready for just a few more events here when we come back in 5. The reps for the elite men Keirin. And that'll be the conclusion of our rest time. We are getting ready for the reps for the Elite Men and the Keirins. Two heats here in our reps. We're going to bring up Heat A first. Sandoval, Lawson, Brewer, Danielson, Ford, Gillis. Heat B on deck, Makino, Bonilla, Brewer, Vandervliet, Wilson. That's Alexander Brewer in Heat A, Daniel Brewer in Heat B. Elite Men Keirin reps presented by Greg Cycles coming up here shortly. Heat A getting set to go, drawing for position. We'll bring them onto the track, followed by Heat B. Top three from each of these groups will be invited to continue on with their Keirin. The rest of the heat will be all done for the day. Following the reps, the Keirins will be done during this session. Those riders will be able to get some rest before they are back up and at 'em for our 6 p.m. Saturday night session. Top half of the heat here, we'll get to race again.
Take me to your heart. I belong to you.
And there's all 6 lined up for the start. We'll get this thing rolling here in just a minute after we get our last check-in from our officials. Pacer gets a signal and on their way. 3 riders from this group will join those that have already advanced. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready.
When you feel like it's over and nothing else matters, I know you feel so divided. Pick yourself
It's number 58, Cameron Gillis. Ride with Rendell team in position 1 right behind the bike. Mario Sandoval, number 52 for Premier Racing in position 2. Tyson Danielson for Waterline Racing in the blue kit in position 3. That's number 78, Alexander Brewer in the black with the orange helmet. In 5th position, that's Dylan Lawson for Bell Lap Cycle Works, wearing bib number 95. Andrew Ford, 81, drew position 6 and is at the back of the lineup right now. 3 riders to race again here today in the Keirin out of our group of 6. Got to be in the front half of this group to race again. 2 to go. Pulling apart as the pacer brings him up to speed. well timed between both. Looks like Ford and Brewer both wanting to make a run towards the front. They time it so they do not overtake the pacer down the back straight before it exits from the lead. Now Danielson will take over the front, number 64. The rider in blue for Waterline Racing, looking like he's got a good position on the rest of this field. He's going to be the target to go catch if anybody wants to get up to him. Top three advance. Right now it's Danielson and three riders behind. Which one of those three is not going to make it in? Look at this tight window between Sandoval. Third rider across the line is number 81. Andrew Ford relegated for the result in that heat. Relegation to number 81, Andrew Ford. Moving up track when an opponent was already there will be the call on the official relegation. Again, moving up track in an opponent. Heat B now getting ready for their start. Your second of two groups here for the reps. 5 riders on the start list. Three more to advance from this group. Semi-final round for the sprinters upcoming. We'll start with the Masters and Cat 3 men and then go to the Elite Women, our last event here of this session. Pacer gets a signal and is on their way. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. Daniel Brewer of the Cheney Windows and Doors team, number 85, has drawn position 1, is right behind our Pacer bike. Luke Wilson, number 82, in the black kit in position 2. Louis Bonilla in position 3, bib number 89, right in the middle of our group. Tak Makino for Atomic Racing, that's bib 60 in position 4. Flying Gorilla Academy has Jacob Vandervliet, number 49, in position 5 in our lineup today. 3 riders continue on in the Keirin. 2 will be done with this ride today. The next time we'll see our Keirin riders will be during tonight's evening program. We'll be racing both the semifinals and the major and minor final after our 6 o'clock start tonight. Pacer bring up to speed. We're about to have the Pacer exit right here on the middle of the back straight, and off we go. A lap and a half remaining. It's still Brewer on the front. Our champion of many of our mass start events last night on the front of this field right now. Seeing what he can do here in the Keirin. Leading out the acceleration right now. Here comes some movement from the back as Vandervliet trying to shorten up the distance a little bit, coming onto the back straight. He's working his way up and around. Flying Grid Academy up to good speed. Top 3 advance. Right now it's looking like Vandervliet in great position. It's going to be one more of the group in the back here now. Which of these 3? It looks like Brewer's got just enough top speed here. He should be able to continue on. Number 85 will be third across the line. This looks like Louis Bonilla, Daniel Brewer, Jacob Vandervliet, your 3 advancers in that group. Masters and Cat 3 men semi-final round for the sprints. To the ready area, JC Pyle, Wes Pollock. Also to the ready area, Thomas Andrew, Gabriel Takagi, our riders in the second heat. Pyle, Pollock, Andrew, and Takagi for the semi-final round. Elite women, you're coming up quick as well. Savard and Scoville will be the first matchup, followed by McKee and Snowbelin. Semifinals are right now, as posted in the program and our schedule today. Semifinals are right now. Semi-final round for the sprints upcoming for all of our competitors remaining. That's going to be 4 heats of semi-final racing to go here. First up in the Masters and Cast 3 men semi-final round is our first heat here of JC Pyle and Wes Pollock. Pollock draws position 1 here in lane 1. He'll be racing up against Pyle, number 127, out there in lane 2 for the Jerry Baker Jr. team. And we'll be seeing again all of these riders later tonight for their finals. Right now we decide who's racing for first and second later today and who'll be racing for third and fourth. One ride will separate these two for the major or minor final later today. Our fastest qualifier from this group earlier today, Pyatt taking on Pollock, who got here in a good ride here the last round we saw. Now we have these two in this head-to-head matchup to determine who will race for first and second later tonight. The winner in that major final in front of the Saturday night audience later today. They got to get to that line first, though, here after another lap. Pyatt in the outside position, the junior, taking on the rider in red. Wearing today in a Team British Columbia jersey. It's Pollock, number 98, still in the inside position, controlling the lane and the movement to the left. Pyatt has all the height in the world, could just try to use it. Acceleration down the hill. Pyatt's going to have to respond here. He'll move down low into the sprinter's lane as well. Pollock turning and churning here at high speed. Pyatt's going to try to counter and come onto the turn 4. Here comes the overtake. Can he finish? Pyatt versus Pollock to the line. Pollock on the inside, number 98. Confirming it is 98. We'll be racing for first and second here later today. Pyatt in the race for third and fourth. Heat 2 coming up now. This is number 51, Thomas Andrew in lane 2, the rider of the white kit, black helmet for Flying Gorilla Academy. Next door to him for the J. Baker Juniors is number 96, Gabriel Takagi. Number 51 came into this with the advantage in the qualifying speed, but Takagi close behind and had a very convincing ride to get here. In the quarterfinal round, again, Takagi looking really quite dominant, so we'll see that these two riders are going to be well matched in this round. Critical moment for both. One to go on to race for first and second, the winner. The other the race for third for fourth against Pyatt later today. On deck, the elite women, Savard and Scoville, followed by McKee and Snowblin. Following the elite women, that'll be the end of our session before we go for recess and then prepare ourselves for the session number 4 tonight. Bells ringing. Takagi comes up a little bit more onto the position of Andrew up high. Now he'll move back down in that sprinter's lane, trying to use the hill to help him accelerate. Andrew's leaving a lot of running room. Is that smart here? Takagi's got in the top of the gears pretty well. That's a lot of distance to close down. This looks a little bit like the quarterfinal round as the junior's way out the front, but look at the closing speed from Andrew. He's on his way. Ooh, it's going to be Takagi, number 96 on the inside. Andrew was making great strides to catch, but I think that window is just too wide. I think the gap too long to close quick enough. Both racing that very well, but it will go in the direction of the Jerry Baker Jr. to race in the finals for first and second. The elite women coming up to the line now in their first of 2 heats in the semifinal round. Same story. We're going to send one rider on to race in the major final from each of these 2 groups. This is Danny Scoville, number 12 for the Jerry Baker Juniors on the inside position, taking on Amy Savard, wearing bib number 2 in lane 2. Notable recent result for number 2 is the Canadian Elite National Team Sprint champ is number 2. Savard leaving quite a bit of space here behind Scoville, the local speedster for the Jerry Baker Jr. team. Been wearing proudly the Rider of the Year kit this entire weekend. As she comes into this contest leading our local field, our Open 1-2-3 women that race here on Friday night. So our Friday night racing series leader styles herself more on the sprint side than on the endurance side. So she's going to try and be competitive here against this Canadian very strong rider, the fastest finisher today for our group, the rider in blue. This is tough conditions today to get a fast time, and she broke that 12-second barrier to Savard. So we know she's got great top speed today. Here goes Scoville from the front a little bit. She's got some room, working up towards her sprint, but not in full engagement, looking for something from Savard, and that is a lot of speed, and Scoville is saving it for the next round, it appears. As that's already done. So we'll see Scoville for the race for 3rd and 4th. Savard, no surprise to see her advance into this race for 1st and 2nd. Unlike our Cat 3 men, where the slower qualifiers took both heats, so far our faster finisher in the qualifier has taken this first ride. Let's see between McKee and Snoblin, who will also be joining in on this race for 1st and 2nd. Down in lane 1, bib number 1. Team Novo Nordisk is McKenna McKee. Number 22, Diane Snoblin up in lane 2. Only the rider really to break into that 11-second sub-12 area was McKee during the qualifiers. That's the rider on the front position. Against some pretty good competition in the last round, made it look pretty easy. Still haven't seen McKee have to put out a tough lap here yet. We'll see if Snoblin has brought some good competition to challenge her here. That's the rider on her wheel as McKee has been forced to lead this out. Will continue to do so here in the sprinters lane. All the way around the first lap into this back half of the second lap. Both riders now starting to accelerate. Snoblin still in the follow position. Glued on the wheel still. Now trying to take the upper position on the red line. Up and around. Ooh, getting a little busy in that sprinters lane. Here comes McKee and Snoblin. McKee and Snoblin. McKee looks comfortable still. Number 1. Might be sweat on her brow, I'm not sure. Still making it look pretty comfortable. Snoblin will take the race for 3rd and 4th later today against Scoville. We'll see McKee and Savard in what should be a great final between those 2 competitors later today. And that'll do it for our 3rd session. We are getting set for some time away here. We'll be turning off the live stream, shutting down the system up here for a little bit, taking a break for our officials and all our support staff as we get ready for tonight's racing program. You've heard me say it a bunch. I'll say it again. We start an hour early on Saturday night. It's 6 o'clock is when racing will start right here for our 4th session. The finale of the Marymoor Grand Prix. All this great sprinting and Keirin racing that we got to watch today will all finish up during that session, as well as plenty more fun racing to come. We look forward to it. We'll see you here at 6 o'clock for the 4th session of the Marymoor Grand Prix.